is just fantastic. Today I thought I'd talk about Laurence Fox, as he has been making a number of waves for quite some time. Aspects of this might get political, but in a very specific context. We'll get to that later though. For now, we should start with who is Laurence Fox, because I'm sure many of you don't know who he is. In the United Kingdom, he is well known for having portrayed a particular character on a TV show called Lewis, a crime show, which was a spin-off of Morse. I know this because my mother was a huge fan of Morse and Lewis. I had thought perhaps they would continue the story by doing a spin-off of a spin-off with Laurence Fox's character as the lead, but nothing happened. Oh, what a shame. He has also been married to somebody well known in the UK called Billie Piper. They had tried to at one point crack America, but it didn't work out. F for that. He's also a musician and has a number of songs and albums on Spotify. I would highly recommend giving it a listen. It's actually not bad. More recently, he's known for something else, though. It's not his acting career, it's not his musical talent, it's not his marriage. No, it's actually his views. The first thing that started a ball rolling was when he said he wouldn't date somebody that was woke. And it caused a stir, with a considerable amount of people getting very offended at the idea that he wouldn't date someone because of what they believed. Which, I'll be honest with you, comes across as very superficial. Because the person who's getting offended by him saying he doesn't agree with an ideology, therefore he won't date someone who believes that, implies that, he's going to fancy someone for their looks? Or perhaps because nothing screams, I love you more, than having a good old-fashioned argument for every single moment of every single day, 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. Give it a moment, see if anyone got the joke. Because he said that, though, his, let's say, relevancy, but not really, resurfaced. Because people are dumping on him, he trended a number of times because of it. He got to feature on a number of political news channels and morning breakfast shows, discussing his beliefs, to then get dumped on because apparently having an opinion is inherently bad. Which is quite funny, because those who are counter to what he said are also having an opinion, which makes his opinion wrong, think? I think it does. You should be ashamed of yourself. How dare you, Laurence Fox? Now, if Laurence Fox can do us all a solid favour, and start dating a 57-year-old man who identifies as a 5-year-old girl that happens to believe they're also a unicorn, we would all be very happy-ish. With the consequences, positive and negative, of him being very outspoken in articles on the news and TV interviews, and of course his Twitter, which, by the way, if anyone's ever looked at James Blunt's Twitter for the comebacks, look at Laurence Fox's. More recently he said something and it got a lot of people triggered, but I kinda got his position on it. But we'll get to that later. And if you're one of those people that got triggered when Laurence Fox said he wouldn't date someone if they're woke, you are by definition a bit of a snowflake. So now I want to talk about a few incidents that have occurred recently that have caused a bit of a stir. We can go back as far as January 16th when Laurence Fox got into a heated debate with Rachel Boyle, an ethnicity lecturer, who on BBC's Question Time called him a white privileged male for denying that the Duchess of Sussex was hounded from Britain for being mixed race. For the sake of it, she clearly wasn't hounded out of the United Kingdom. She found an exit, or an airport, and simply went. And signed a massive multi-million-pound deal with Harry, I'm sure he'll get some of this money, to talk. Yeah. Laurence Fox decided to respond to this the following day by quoting Martin Luther King's 1963 I Have a Dream speech, which I think is the most accurate way of responding to somebody who has judged him because of his skin colour. Another incident on Question Time, oddly enough, there will be a trend I'm sure, concerned whether or not the Sussexes should keep their titles or profit from it. Now, we all know they have gone on to do that. Laurence Fox said they shouldn't have their cake and eat it, they should give it all back, which they mostly did in Megxit, I believe it was called. Shami Chakrabarti was also on that show, though, and latched onto a few comments he made about race, when it came to the UK not being as racist as other nations. Everyone then obsessed over the fact that the media were involved and blah blah blah, And of course, because he said it's not as racist here, they thought he meant it's just not racist here. It's nice to see they were all listening. At the beginning of this month, so October, Laurence Fox retweeted Sainsbury's "We are proud to celebrate Black History Month together with our black colleagues, customers and communities, and we will not tolerate racism." Laurence Fox retweeted it with, "I won't be shopping in your supermarket ever again whilst you promote racial segregation and discrimination." Many people are opposed to Black History Month in the UK. Yes, most of those are white, by the way. Can't imagine why. Black history is, of course, very important, but there will always be many in the UK especially who, as I've earlier stated with Laurence, believe the UK is not as racist as other countries that believe a whole month dedicated to Black history is a bad idea, especially because those that push it, especially the more woke variety, do push for things that do come across as segregation and discrimination. Therefore, pouncing on Black History Month in his perspective can be argued to be wrong. He has gone on sadly to delete this tweet. I say sadly because the responses were absolutely hilarious, where everyone was calling him a racist, so he decided, if you're going to use a thought-terminating cliche on me, I'm going to use one on you and see how many of you get triggered. The answer, by the way, was quite a few, because he called them all paedophiles. I'm not justifying what he said, by the way, merely stating that I understood why he did it. Based on the perspective he has, it makes sense. Interestingly, though, one of those he did is going to sue him for defamation. They're called Simon Blake. Now, interestingly for me, was when I went to go look through all the names of those, just to see if any of them had a history or a criminal record. Simon Blake has a namesake who earlier this month was in fact charged with possession of indecent images of children. Sorry, Simon. When I saw that, at first I had thought perhaps Laurence had a point. Then I checked the rest and realised, no, you were just getting really leery. The most recent thing Laurence Fox has done, which has gotten also quite a bit of attention, is he started his own political party called Reclaim. Many of the donors that helped to raise the funds needed for him to do this were former Tory donors, and he did an interview in Spiked explaining why he wanted to get more involved in politics, where he felt that Labour were more interested in swallowing critical race theory, and the Conservatives seem to be lacking fundamental understandings when it comes to free thinking and policing thought. Understandably, with starting a new political party, there is the idea that no political party currently does anything for the people, forgetting the vast number of different cultures, so it's very hard for anyone to ever really appeal to the people, which is a bit of a generalization of many communities who've often felt alienated by politics, or, to give them their correct name, elitist, snobbish, out-of-touch mongs. When Laurence Fox announced his new political party, he was again trending on Twitter, and many mocked him because they felt he was trying to become UKIP 2.0, or the Brexit Party 2.0, or any other party that tried to appeal to the people and did when needed. UKIP they did in 2015, which caused David Cameron to call for the referendum. And the Brexit Party, oh boy, last year's European elections, they made waves. There is no denying that. Somewhat interestingly, there is a GoFundMe in place by a lady called Olivia, who runs a charity called Reclaim. She's even started the hashtag #ReclaimReclaim. The intention is to seek legal guidance to take the name back that has been appropriated by Laurence Fox, who has gone on to get a number of advisors, Calvin Robinson being one of them, to try and get his party moving so that in 2024 they are then able to field potential candidates to become MPs and then start to affect that change, yo. When your cough has over a few million in, you might be able to make a splash. I'm not saying you won't be able to, you've got 4 years anyway, but it shall be interesting to see over this time how Laurence Fox goes forward. He has, by the way, given a lot of interviews, very lengthy ones. I will link all of them down below. They do assist greatly in understanding how he thinks and how he believes he can go forward with his politics. As we need more time anyway to get a manifesto, we don't truly know what his politics are. as many of the parties in Parliament do pander to wokeness, and by that I mean the perspective put forward by Laurence Fox. It can be argued that they are out of touch for additional reasons that they've already been out of touch on for many, many years anyway. As the final part of this video, I guess we should ask ourselves, is, based on what we now know of Laurence Fox, racist? Personally, I don't believe he is. He has said a number of things over the years that, yes, do not do him any favours, but I don't believe that makes him a racist. I just believe it makes him sound like he says very questionable things that get spun, oddly, by the very media in the Question Time video where he talked about the Sussexes that like to spin things in a rather amusing way. But I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, please do let me know in the comments down below.